Hello friends, Lenz Go Deep here. We're out here on the trail again in the woods. And today I just want to talk about suffering and are you suffering unnecessarily when you don't have to? Something to consider, friends. Please do subscribe if you're liking this content. I'll do my best to keep these videos going. It's not easy to come up with these subjects and explain these things, although I will take some notes and I've had lots of practice. So I believe I'm the one that can bring it to you and give you this perspective that is quite different and quite unique. And you see the sun shining through the trees on the water there. I'll zoom in, it's that B-roll to the sun behind the leaves. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, back to the subject of the video. Why are we suffering then? Why are we suffering then when we don't need to? Why are we carrying the weight when you can let it down? Why would you sit in prison and rot and deteriorate when the door of the cell is actually open? Or to say the cell doesn't have a door on it to begin with. So if the cell doesn't have a door on it to begin with, then why would you sit there? Okay? I make videos about weathering the storm and keeping hope and just some deeper and alternative reality positions. I would say, well, an alternative reality, realistic fiction, same thing, same idea. So we're suffering, many of us, unnecessarily when you can have that experience within yourself to move past it. No matter what it is, the negativity, regardless of what it is, regardless of what happened, you don't have to hold on to these things forever and you can let go, okay? You can free yourself from the trap, from the chains. Regardless, friends, relationship, family, career, you have power even when health fails people. God willing, you still have control over your mind. And if you've talked to folks who have had the real mental struggles of life, the real mental struggles of duress and extreme stress, I've gone through which, developing my character, becoming Lenz Go Deep, doing more poetry for you folks. I've done music, I've done artwork, so much research, so many videos. When you're going through these processes, you have to understand it's for something. You see people go gray early, and I wonder myself when gray hair will pop through my head from all the stresses I put on myself. But it was worth it because I had to move past the phase of blandness. If I ever want to be a creator, if I ever want to be a writer, a poet, an author, I had to dig deep and create personalities within myself to bring forth the character Lenz Go Deep. Okay? There's a bit of transformation you still have to do, and unfortunately, our suffering is a part of the transformation. It is. The real duress, the real stresses that we do go through, these battles are the most difficult. And it's up to you as the governor of your own spirit to get past these things. Not let these things break you. Not give up. No. Because on the other side of the stress, on the other side of the suffering, on the other side of the duress, the guilt, the broken promises, on the other side of that is something much, much better than what you experienced previously. Likewise, you break into a fresh new character, you're given different abilities, you're given a different language, you're given more knowledge, okay? You're given more time, you get more experiences. You create the experiences. We have tools like this. I've used the iPhone as a tool. I can bring a message out to you folk. And hopefully somebody hear this and it makes sense to them and they can hear it. They can think on it. They can make a change and say, yeah, nothing's perfect, but you have to understand that you had to let yourself free, or else you're going to drown with the chains around your neck and the chains all upon your body, or you're going to stay remaining in a jail cell, a prison cell, while the door is open and you're free to go. Okay? We don't want that. And I've seen it happen to so many people. The battle is very, 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 very difficult. I don't want to underestimate that. The battle is difficult, like folks in recovery, folks who have struggled with addiction. You can see the battle is very, very difficult. And I've gone through it myself. Like I mentioned, breaking addiction to tobacco. I did drink earlier. Let's say that was close to 8 years ago. But, after drinking, as a young man, 21, 22, 23, you drink, you get sick. In my case, I get sick a few times. One time I get very, very sick. And I say, I don't do this again. I don't drink like that much at all. It ruined my thirst for the alcohol. When you get sick, it's a bad thing, right? Very bad thing. I felt very unwell, like I should go to hospital. But I knew the alcohol, the poison, is what did it. And from that terrible, terrible hangover and violent illness, I was able to break free from a connection to beer, for me at least. I did not drink the scotch or whiskey much. And until today, 8, 9 years later, it was a good thing. So I'm happy I was able to break free from the alcohol, as I know it has such a hold on people. But that amount of suffering I did to go through that, it was worth it long term, because I was done and over it pretty much for good. I don't see myself going back to drinking for any reason. It's not where I find my peace. It's not where I find my happiness. I have the memory of drinking that it dehydrates me, and I wake up feeling weaker and with my head ringing. I don't want to spend my time like that no more. Don't want to spend my days like that no more. I'm glad I do not. But in that instance, violent illness, like an allergic reaction, it felt like, with the booze, the beer, I'm throwing up, I dry heave. At some point you have to see that these things just happen. And there's not necessarily a reason for it other than what we're doing ourselves. Giving it up. It took so much time. It was such a build-up event. I just couldn't ever find the purpose in it. Definitely was weakening. But as of today, like I said, pretty happy. No drinking. It is a drug in my opinion. I know so many people don't view it as such just because of the commonality of it all. But from what I saw, it had a incredible power over people. And I'll definitely say that it broke up a lot of good things. Give you guys a little walk around of this little pavilion here. Nice park here. You see people are out here enjoying themselves as they should be. So if you're suffering today, what's it for? What's the value in it? What are you going to get from this in the long term? What are you breaking off of you? You know, like I saw myself like a tree trunk over the years where I'm growing to be a great big tree, right? A tree. But what do you do when you realize that 65% is dead weight and you need to shed it off? What do you do then? Well, you go through the process of metamorphosis and you get the dead weight shed off, and you'll move better, you'll move freer, you'll be happy in the end you've done so, okay? So when we're suffering and the doors open, what are we suffering for? What purpose is there to it? Are we just suffering so that we can tell ourselves and tell other people our life is hard? Or is there a real purpose to this stuff? And we know that it leads to something much better than what we've got going on today. You'll never avoid suffering and permanent, but make sure that when you do suffer, it's worth it. Make sure it's worth it, guys. Because life goes by very, very quick. Very, very quick. And the more you live, the faster life goes by. Hope that was able to land to the person or the people who needed to hear this today. I acknowledge your suffering, and I believe you when you say it's very, very difficult, even the most difficult. But you're suffering today. You might see that as a loss or that you're losing. If so, you're taking the losses right now. You're taking that loss early so that later on you'll be winning. What's the win look like? What's on the other side of the suffering? Okay? Hope that made sense to somebody out there. Last little pan of the park. God bless, friends. Lenz go deep. He signs off.